Hello and welcome to Fournier Strategies. I'm Paul Fournier. My topic today is leadership and how leadership should be the most defined behavior in the organization, not the most ambiguous. Reality is many companies train to add or amplify skills to management members with inconsistent or poor behaviors. Few address or discuss behaviors when they are the real source of quality organizations rather than the skills. This is why change management so often fails and companies revert back to their original state. And consider this, behavior is the only form of leadership that truly scales. Leadership is a behavior. Management behaviors are a choice and a personal decision. All other forms, their traits, their styles, and values are simply noise without behavioral structure. Management skills are learned or taught through experience, MBA programs, or other business courses. However, leadership behaviors are a different matter. In my view, leadership's not merely a skill set that one possesses, it's a pattern of behaviors that one consistently demonstrates. Behaviors reflect operating norms. What a leader does consistently under pressure, in times of uncertainty, and in complexity. And in real life, behavior reveals character under stress, priorities under pressure, and consistency under scrutiny. Management, employees, suppliers, and customers develop perception about management leadership based on observation and aggravation. Both establish perception about management capacity and trust. Positive perception develops respect and understanding for leadership. This in turn influences performance, retention, and operational stability. Again, management behavior is a choice, and behaviors amplify management skills or diminish them. Behaviors are determined by what management values, intellectually, emotionally, and financially. When a person values something, they pursue and achieve it. When a person fails to value something, generally there's little effort. The result is inconsistent or average performance. And think about yourself and the management team around you and what is consistently valued. There's 4 behavioral cornerstones. Leadership, and that means achieving the vision, mission, and core values is the primary responsibility of management leadership. And management leadership builds the architecture to achieve the value statements. High performance is not the result of motivation. It's the outcome of behavioral structure. Second is culture. When management does not value or measure culture, employee culture becomes a reflection of management behavior. Marginal or toxic cultures result in employee and customer attrition, failure to achieve objectives, and unpredictable financials. Bad behaviors hide behind employee silence, and the most toxic cultures are not loud, but silent and complicit. Cultural science is the system by which drift becomes permanent. Existing management practices simply condone poor behavior. The third is strategy, and strategy is architecture. When management does not value strategy, there's no architecture for growth. Planning is irrelevant. Accountability is generally absent. Objectives fail to be achieved, and innovation fails to be realized. And in a merit-based business world, management is compensated for achieving objectives. Effective strategy aligns the organization to the goal. And fourth is communication. Communication is learning. When management does not value effective communication, employees and customers fail to learn. When employees and customers fail to learn, they fail to trust. The employee and customer relationship fails to grow, and employee performance becomes average or inconsistent. Supplier companies lose that competitive advantage. And consider this. If communication is based on personality, the system inherits ambiguity. In my view, you can discuss management skills until one is blue in the face. Management skill discussions change nothing in the organization. And if it does, it's temporary. The original organizational quality returns and the business continues on the course it was on. As I mentioned earlier, behavior is the only form of leadership that scales. There's 4 cornerstones: leadership, culture, strategy, and communication. They are independent. They are interdependent. They align the organization to its value statements, speed, and course. Now here's some considerations. Leaders who don't explicitly define what behavior is expected of themselves or others create ambiguity, politics, and misalignment in the organization. So identify behavioral standards before setting performance targets. Define how leadership shows up in meetings, decisions, conflict, and execution. We have to model the behavior standard relentlessly ourselves. You can't ask for behavior you're not willing to model. Organizations mirror management leadership. If the leader cuts corners, tolerates gossip, or avoids accountability, those behaviors spread quickly. The leader is simply a prototype of the organization's values, decision-making discipline, and trust patterns, especially under pressure. Architect structure through crisis. Crisis exposes whether leadership is reactive or structural. In my view, vibrant structure, not micromanagement, brings clarity during instability. Chaos does not demand control, it demands structure. Correct bad behaviors before culture degrades. Toxic employee behaviors become toxic cultures. A leader's silence on poor behavior is interpreted as approval. People seldom change, so eliminate the sources of toxicity permanently. And here's something to consider as well. Challenge cultures don't drift into high performance. They must architect it. Lead through alignment, not attention. In high-performing systems, leadership's not a spotlight, it's a signal. Loud leaders attract chaos. Aligned cornerstone leaders build momentum. Speak with clarity about the challenges and solutions. Build systems that makes executions consistent, not dramatic. Remember, the goal is not to attract attention. The goal is to attract alignment. In conclusion, during the next few days and weeks, identify the management behaviors most productive and the most destructive in your organization. Then apply those behaviors when building your architecture and alignment. In my view, establishing acceptable behavior expectations for management is far more productive than the modification of skills. When leadership is value-driven, culture becomes performance-driven, and strategy becomes reality. Here at Forward Strategies, we work on programming organizational behavior. Leadership talk is replaced with architected structure that forces clarity, alignment, and behavioral integrity. Take a moment and review my website. There are so many opportunities to enhance your organization.